Imagine discovering that some of Hollywood's biggest legends weren't remembered only for their unforgettable performances, but also for whispers that refused to die. Decades after the cameras stopped rolling, biographies, backstage stories, and insider gossip continue to fuel rumors about the private lives of these iconic stars. Were these tales rooted in truth, cleverly exaggerated, or simply myths that grew bigger with every retelling? In this video, we'll uncover the fascinating stories behind 10 legendary actors whose names became linked to some of old Hollywood's most persistent rumors. Number 1. Marlon Brando. Long before Hollywood embraced fearless performances, one man completely changed what it meant to be a leading actor. Marlon Brando wasn't just admired for his talent, he became a symbol of raw confidence, magnetic charisma, and an intensity that audiences had rarely seen before. But away from the cameras, another side of Brando captured just as much attention. For decades, biographies, interviews, and Hollywood gossip have repeated stories claiming that his physical presence was every bit as remarkable as his acting ability. While none of these rumors were ever conclusively confirmed, they became a permanent part of the legend that surrounded him. Brando's breakthrough performances in A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront transformed American cinema. His emotionally charged style inspired generations of actors, but it also blurred the line between the characters he portrayed and the man he was in real life. Fans and journalists became fascinated with everything about him, from his relationships to his outspoken personality. Unlike many stars of his era, Brando rarely avoided conversations about sexuality, often speaking with surprising honesty that only fueled public curiosity. Over the years, former acquaintances, biographers, and even past lovers contributed stories that expanded his already larger-than-life reputation. Some described him as irresistibly charismatic, while others suggested his legendary appeal extended beyond charm alone. Whether these accounts reflected reality, or simply grew through years of retelling, is impossible to prove. Yet every new biography seemed to add another layer to the mystery. What made Brando especially intriguing was that he never appeared overly concerned with protecting a polished public image. His unpredictable nature, rebellious attitude, and refusal to follow Hollywood's rules made almost any rumor seem believable. Number 2. Errol Flynn. Before Hollywood had action superstars, there was Errol Flynn, the fearless swashbuckler whose daring performances and irresistible charm made him one of the biggest stars of the Golden Age. On screen, he was the heroic adventurer audiences admired. Off-screen, however, he built a reputation that was even more sensational. Stories of glamorous parties, high-profile romances, and a seemingly endless list of love affairs transformed Flynn into one of Hollywood's most controversial figures. Alongside those tales came persistent rumors about his physical attributes, whispers that spread through biographies, memoirs, and studio gossip for decades. Flynn's performances in classics like The Adventures of Robin Hood and Captain Blood turned him into an international heartthrob. His confidence, wit, and effortless charisma made him a favorite with audiences, but they also fueled an image of a man who lived without limits. Hollywood insiders frequently described him as someone who embraced excitement wherever he found it, earning a reputation that blurred the line between reality and legend. His personal life was filled with headline-making scandals. Lavish parties, excessive drinking, and relationships with countless women kept his name in newspapers almost as often as his films did. One of the most damaging moments came in the 1940s, when Flynn faced a highly publicized statutory rape trial. Although he was acquitted, the case intensified public fascination with his private life and only strengthened the myths that already surrounded him. As the years passed, writers and biographers continued repeating stories about Flynn's extraordinary appeal. Some believed his legendary reputation came purely from his confidence and charm, while others claimed there was much more behind the rumors. Because very little could ever be verified, the speculation grew larger with every retelling, becoming part of the mythology of old Hollywood itself. Number 3. Milton Berle. Not every Hollywood legend was built on romance or dramatic leading roles. In the case of Milton Berle, one of television's earliest superstars, an off-screen rumor became almost as famous as his comedy itself. While audiences knew him as the energetic entertainer who helped shape the golden age of television, backstage conversations often focused on an entirely different subject. Over time, the stories became so widespread that they evolved into one of Hollywood's longest-running inside jokes. Burley rose to national fame as the host of Texaco Star Theater, earning the nickname Mr. Television for his enormous popularity in the early days of the medium. Millions tuned in every week to watch his quick wit, outrageous costumes, and larger-than-life personality. But behind the scenes, fellow entertainers frequently joked about a rumor that claimed Burley possessed an extraordinary physical endowment. Whether anyone truly believed it almost became irrelevant. The joke itself took on a life of its own. Unlike many celebrities who avoided personal gossip, Burley often leaned into the legend with his trademark sense of humor. During celebrity roasts and comedy events, fellow comedians made countless jokes at his expense, and Burley rarely appeared offended. One of the most famous stories involved a supposed backstage contest where another comedian jokingly told him, "Just take out enough to win." The punchline spread throughout Hollywood and was later repeated by stars including Robin Williams and Lucille Ball, helping cement the tale in entertainment history. Despite decades of speculation, no credible evidence ever confirmed the rumor. Yet its constant repetition in comedy circles turned it into something larger than fact. It became part of Burley's public image, demonstrating how Hollywood myths can survive simply because they're entertaining enough to keep being retold. Number 4. Warren Beatty. Few actors have inspired as much fascination about their love life as Warren Beatty. Long before social media followed every celebrity romance, Beatty's relationships were already dominating magazine covers and Hollywood gossip columns. His name became synonymous with charm, confidence, and an almost unmatched reputation as one of the industry's greatest heartthrobs. Alongside those stories came another rumor that refused to disappear, one that quietly followed him throughout his career and became part of his enduring mystique. Beatty rose to fame in the 1960s with standout performances that established him as one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading men. Handsome, intelligent, and effortlessly charismatic, he quickly became a favorite among audiences and critics alike. But while his acting career flourished, it was his personal life that often attracted even greater public attention. Biographers have claimed he was romantically linked to an astonishing number of women, including some of the biggest names in entertainment. As the years passed, gossip writers began suggesting that Beatty's extraordinary success with women wasn't based on charm alone. Stories about his supposed physical endowment circulated through biographies, memoirs, and insider conversations, though none were ever supported by verified evidence. Because Beatty rarely commented on such rumors, speculation only intensified. His silence allowed the stories to grow, turning whispers into one of Hollywood's most persistent legends. Unlike many celebrities who constantly sought the spotlight, Beatty remained surprisingly private when discussing his relationships. That mystery only made him more intriguing. Fans were left to separate documented facts from exaggerated tales, while every new biography seemed to introduce another unbelievable story. 5. Mickey Rooney. At first glance, Mickey Rooney seemed like the last person anyone would expect to become the subject of Hollywood's most surprising rumors. Standing just over 5 feet tall, he hardly fit the traditional image of a classic leading man. Yet behind his youthful appearance was a personality so energetic and confident that he became one of the most successful entertainers of his generation. Over time, stories about his extraordinary romantic life, and persistent whispers about his physical attributes, turned him into one of old Hollywood's most unexpected legends. Rooney began performing as a child and built a career that lasted more than 9 decades, making him one of the most prolific actors in entertainment history. From vaudeville stages to blockbuster films and television appearances, he constantly reinvented himself, earning admiration from audiences across multiple generations. His remarkable longevity alone would have secured his place in Hollywood history, but his private life often attracted just as much attention as his professional achievements. Despite his modest height, Rooney was romantically linked to several glamorous women, including screen icon Ava Gardner, whom he briefly married. In total, he married 8 times, fueling endless speculation about the secret behind his success with women. Gossip columnists and Hollywood insiders hinted that his appeal extended beyond confidence and fame, repeating rumors that gradually became part of his public image. While none of these claims were ever verified, they spread widely enough to become a lasting piece of Hollywood folklore. Those who worked with Rooney frequently described him as fearless, charismatic, and full of energy. He possessed a larger-than-life personality that seemed to erase any limitations people assumed based on his appearance. That contrast between his small stature and his outsized reputation only made the stories surrounding him even more intriguing. Encouraging. Number 6. Clark Gable. When people picture the ultimate Golden Age movie star, one name almost always comes to mind: Clark Gable. Nicknamed the King of Hollywood, Gable projected effortless confidence, rugged masculinity, and undeniable charisma. His unforgettable performance in Gone with the Wind cemented him as one of cinema's greatest leading men, but behind the glamorous image, another legend quietly followed him for decades. Alongside stories of his romances came persistent whispers that became part of Hollywood folklore. Off-screen, Gable's love life attracted nearly as much attention as his films. He was linked to several famous women, including actress Carole Lombard, whom he deeply loved, and Loretta Young, with whom he reportedly shared a secret child. These high-profile relationships only strengthened his reputation as one of Hollywood's most desirable men. As his fame grew, so did the rumors surrounding his private life, with insiders and biographers occasionally hinting that his appeal extended beyond his charm and screen presence. Although no verified evidence ever confirmed those claims, the speculation spread through memoirs, biographies, and decades of entertainment gossip. Because Gable rarely discussed intimate details of his personal life, the mystery only became more intriguing. Fans were left wondering how much was rooted in reality, and how much had simply grown through years of repeated storytelling. Part of Gable's lasting appeal came from his quiet confidence. Unlike many celebrities who actively cultivated controversy, he projected strength without saying much at all. That reserved personality allowed people to imagine almost anything about the man behind the famous mustache. In Hollywood, unanswered questions often become legends, and Gable's silence helped keep those stories alive long after his career had ended. Number 7. James Dean. Some Hollywood stars spend decades building a legacy. James Dean achieved it in just a few years. With only a handful of major films, he became the face of youthful rebellion, emotional vulnerability, and effortless cool. His performances in Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant transformed him into a cultural icon almost overnight. But after his tragic death at just 24 years old, the mystery surrounding his private life only grew stronger, giving rise to rumors that continued to fascinate fans decades later. Unlike many actors of his era, Dean projected an intensity that felt deeply personal. His quiet confidence and unpredictable nature made him stand out from the polished Hollywood image of the 1950s. As his fame increased, so did public curiosity about the man behind the screen. Biographers and memoirs published after his death explored every aspect of his life, including speculation about his sexuality, with several writers suggesting he had relationships with both men and women. While many of these claims remain impossible to verify, they became an important part of the legend surrounding him. Alongside those stories came persistent whispers about Dean's physical attributes. Hollywood insiders and later biographies occasionally repeated these rumors, adding another layer to the mystique of a star who seemed to challenge expectations at every turn. Because Dean died so young, he never had the opportunity to address or dismiss many of the stories that followed him. As a result, fact, speculation, and myth blended together into one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. What makes James Dean's story so compelling is that his legend extends far beyond gossip. His influence on fashion, acting, and popular culture remains enormous, inspiring generations of performers who admired his authenticity and emotional depth. Even today, his image continues to symbolize freedom, rebellion, and individuality. Number 8. Tony Curtis. By the 1950s, few Hollywood stars embodied charm and sophistication quite like Tony Curtis. With his striking looks, effortless charisma, and undeniable screen presence, Curtis quickly became one of the era's biggest heartthrobs. Whether starring in romantic dramas or light-hearted comedies, he had a natural ability to captivate audiences. But behind the glamorous lifestyle, another story quietly followed him for decades, one built not on verified facts, but on the kind of Hollywood gossip that never seemed to disappear. Curtis reached international fame through unforgettable performances in films such as Some Like It Hot and Sweet Smell of Success. His versatility allowed him to move seamlessly between comedy and drama, earning praise from critics while attracting millions of devoted fans. Off-screen, however, his reputation as a charismatic ladies' man often overshadowed his work. Reports of relationships with actresses and models regularly filled entertainment headlines, reinforcing his image as one of Hollywood's most desirable leading men. As his celebrity grew, so did speculation about his private life. Hollywood insiders, gossip columnists, and several biographies repeated rumors suggesting that Curtis possessed an exceptional physical endowment. While none of these stories were ever confirmed, they became part of the mythology surrounding his romantic reputation. Curtis himself rarely addressed such claims directly, preferring instead to embrace the confidence and charm that audiences already associated with him. His personal life was every bit as eventful as his film career. Married 6 times, including a famous marriage to actress Janet Leigh, with whom he had daughter Jamie Lee Curtis, his relationships kept him in the public eye for decades. Yet despite constant media attention, many aspects of his private life remained open to speculation, allowing rumors to grow with each passing year. Number 9. Burt Lancaster. Few actors projected strength and confidence as naturally as Burt Lancaster. Before becoming one of Hollywood's most respected leading men, Lancaster worked as a circus acrobat, developing the athletic physique that later became one of his trademarks on screen. His combination of physical presence, intelligence, and undeniable charisma made him stand out in an era filled with legendary stars. Yet, like many Hollywood icons, his public image eventually became intertwined with rumors that extended far beyond his celebrated film career. Lancaster earned widespread acclaim through unforgettable performances in classics such as From Here to Eternity, Elmer Gantry, and The Leopard. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he brought a unique blend of toughness and emotional depth to every role. Audiences admired his commanding screen presence, while fellow actors respected his professionalism and dedication to his craft. Off-screen, however, Hollywood insiders often spoke of him with equal fascination, describing him as a man whose confidence and magnetic personality attracted admirers wherever he went. As the years passed, biographies and industry gossip began circulating stories suggesting that Lancaster's appeal wasn't based solely on his rugged looks or acting talent. Persistent rumors claimed he possessed an exceptional physical endowment, though no reliable evidence ever confirmed those stories. Because Lancaster valued his privacy and rarely commented on his personal life, speculation continued to grow, allowing mystery to replace certainty. Like many Hollywood legends, the lack of clear answers only made the rumors more enduring. Friends and colleagues often described Lancaster as both intellectually curious and physically imposing, a combination that made him unlike almost anyone else in the industry. Number 10. Sean Connery. Few actors have ever defined masculinity on screen quite like Sean Connery. As the first actor to bring James Bond to life on the big screen, Connery became the gold standard for the world's most famous secret agent. His confident demeanor, unmistakable voice, and effortless charm turned him into an international icon. But beyond the tuxedos, fast cars, and unforgettable one-liners, another layer of mystery followed him throughout his career, one fueled by decades of Hollywood gossip rather than verified fact. After the release of the early Bond films in the 1960s, Connery's popularity skyrocketed. He wasn't just admired for his acting ability, he became one of the era's biggest sex symbols. Fans around the world were captivated by his rugged good looks and commanding screen presence, while entertainment magazines eagerly covered every detail of his personal life. Alongside stories of his romances came persistent whispers suggesting that his legendary appeal extended beyond charisma alone. Friends, insiders, and celebrity gossip columns occasionally repeated claims about his physical attributes, though none of these stories were ever confirmed by credible evidence. What made the rumors even more enduring was Connery's personality. He rarely addressed sensational claims or felt the need to defend his private life, allowing speculation to flourish. His confidence, combined with an air of mystery, encouraged people to believe almost anything about the man behind the Bond persona. As with many Golden Age legends, silence often proved more powerful than denial. Yet reducing Sean Connery's legacy to Hollywood gossip would overlook the extraordinary career he built. Beyond James Bond, he delivered acclaimed performances in films such as The Untouchables, The Hunt for Red October, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and The Rock, earning an Academy Award and the respect of audiences across generations.